What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff. So today we're going to make a video to talk about ways to save money on your move to Hawaii. Reason we're going to make this video is because it seems like there's many people who watch this channel who are looking to move to Hawaii, and of course, you know, trying to do it in a reasonable fashion by saving money and not just blowing a hole in the pockets. So the first and foremost thing that I always recommend when I talk to people about moving here, sell all your stuff. Unless you're in one of those rare situations where you own a $10,000 mahogany bed and you know, whatever else, you know, that you gotta ship, or like a bed that you absolutely have to sleep on, or a couch that you just love and you couldn't do without. I guess you know, maybe you'd have to take the time to ship it in a crate. You know, that means you got to ship it. If you're in Michigan, you got to get it to a port like Long Beach or San Francisco. You know, so there's that fee. Then you got to ship it on the ship. So you see, it just makes more sense to sell everything and start over. The only two things that I find to be an issue with that, well, I mean, I guess shipping your car, you might end up being in a situation where you might want to do that, but if you can do that, that's probably recommended also. But the three things that are probably, I guess, the biggest challenge in shipping that you know you'd probably want to ship would be a couch, a bed, or a car, transportation. Those three things are probably, if you can solve that riddle or you can solve that situation, you know, and get rid of the cost to ship, that's good. So whatever you sell everything for, you know, use that money to go shopping at the Salvation Army. If I took my camera into the Salvation Army, into the Goodwill, and showed you guys what it looks like in there, you'd understand. You can get some pretty cool looking stuff for an affordable price. So, you know, $15 here, $30 here. Another thing that might be cool is if you, I guess they'd call it pay it forward. So you could, you know, donate some of your stuff and pay it forward, you know, and maybe you'll end up finding some pretty good stuff. One thing that I think can play a factor in that is the area that you're searching for thrift store stuff, you know. If you're in an area like Lahaina, high end, you know, you'll probably score some great stuff. If you're in Hilo and you're going thrift store shopping, you might end up not getting so many great things. I can tell you the thrift store in Hilo doesn't even compete with the thrift store over here in Kihei. Kihei's got way more inventory, way more stuff that you could possibly want in your home. Like nice stuff. I mean, I was in there the other day, I saw like marble tables. I was like, what? Who gives this away? I was like, it must have been some really wealthy person who didn't want to ship these big blocks of stone tables that would, you know, be heavy. They're heavy to ship, but they were in there. So that was some pretty expensive stuff. Always tables, always silverware, always cups, china, you know, little what do they call those, stools, all sorts of things. But like I said, the bed and the couch, those are things those will probably be your two biggest expenses when you get here, and you'll probably want to get those new, unless you don't mind getting a used couch. My only problem with used couches and used beds is they've already been soiled before, you know, before you use them. But for a bed, for example, you could go to like Goodwill. You could get 2 twin mattresses, which would create a king size bed. Then you just need to get the mattress. You could either get that new, or you could get a used mattress, and you could get it from Costco. You could get a like a styrofoam mattress pad. It's about this thick. You know, and then it's like sleeping on a brand new bed. And you could probably get 2 of those for a really great price. I mean, we're talking, you can probably get two twin box springs and the stand for like under $100. Then a mattress you could probably get for $40. You know, you don't want to get one that's too dirty, right? So $40. So I mean, if you get a brand new bed here in Maui, that's going to cost, here in Hawaii, but in Maui in particular, it's going to cost you about $800 to $1,000. The mattress pad will cost you about $100. So that's some alternatives to the bed. For the couch, you know, going to Rent-A-Center might be one of your options, although I found Rent-A-Center not to be that cheap. As far as saving money on other household goods, Costco. Get a Costco card for sure. One more thing that's really good for your family, if you have a family, but if you're just an individual or you don't want to shop every time at Costco, get a Foodland card, like, or Mackay card from Foodland. So if you make it a point to one of your first things to do when you arrive here is get a Hawaii state ID or Hawaii driver's license. It might be easier to get the state ID because you got to pass the test all over again, and if you're not so great at passing tests, you know, you might go in there 1 or 2 or 3 times. So, but if you get the card, you know, you get combine at discounts. There's ways to save money just by being a state resident versus being a out of state, having an out of state ID. They don't make it easy though. You're gonna have to prove with 2 different forms of identification and a birth certificate, a social security card. You know, they don't make it easy, and you're gonna need a utility bill, like 2 of those. So, like they're saying here, look online for clothing and electronics. Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place. Flea markets, depending on what island you're moving to. So Craigslist, yeah, check out Craigslist. Craigslist, you can get some pretty cool scores if you stay on top of it. You're not always going to go in there and find your bed, find your couch, find your recliner, find your desk. But if you keep checking every 3 or 4 days and you try to get on it right away, you'll find stuff. It says here, make sure you get energy efficient homes. This is something. See, I'm going through this list here. If I see something I agree with, I'll bring it up. But energy efficient homes is really important. If you're trying to go off grid, like for example, if you go off grid and you get solar and you get water catchment, it's 2 things that you won't have to rely on the public utility for, but there is some downside to living off grid. I know a lot of you guys have this idea that living off grid is just the dream come true, but after 3 months of doing that, I was ready for the modern amenities. I like living off grid probably for a week or 2, but after that, I mean, I'm ready to go back to it's like camping. I mean, how long can you camp for? But it's not really camping because you're in a cabin. And such things that come up to make living off grid challenging is if you're doing water catchment. You know, if it doesn't rain for 3 weeks, you know, you're low on water, you're gonna be taking 1-minute showers if you're even allowed to do that. If you don't have enough water, you'll have to call the water truck out there. And if your water catchment is not accessible, you know, how are you gonna have to pump the hose through? So that's gonna cost you extra money too. So yeah, I know you think that saving money on living off grid is gonna be the way to go, growing your own food and all that, but you want to be experienced and you want to be properly set up for that. So that might take some time to settle into. But use the public utility while you establish your off-grid plan, which is going to save you money in the long term if you can do water catchment. So get a big tank. So when it downpours, it fills up. You're not one of those people who has a 100-gallon water tank that you go through just like that, because you're going to be, washing clothes with it. You're going to be watering your vegetables, right? Because if it doesn't rain for a week, you still got to water your veggies. So you're going to turn on the hose. You got to shower, and if you got 3 or 4 of you, you're going to have to shower times 3 or 4. You're going to be washing dishes, stuff like that. So water catchment, you want a big tank. because when it downpours, you want to be able to get as much of that rainwater as you can. Like I said, growing vegetables, just watch out for rat lung worm. You know, just make sure there's no snails or anything on your slugs, on your produce. It says right here, join a coupon site and grab deals. I don't really like that. Some people do. I found it easier to just get a Mackay card or a Long's Drugs card, or, you know, Costco, as we mentioned before. Garage sales, that's cool. Let the trade winds blow. You know, you don't always have to pump the AC. Let the trade winds blow, so save money on electricity. Hawaii does have the highest electricity cost in the country, and you want to make sure that the air conditioner is energy efficient, as well as your washer and dryer if it's in your house, and your dishwasher. You want to make sure all these things are energy efficient, because if they're not, some of those things can really guzzle down or pump up your bill. I'll tell you. Farmers markets. Go to these farmers markets. They're awesome. If you do decide to go out and look for your own food, you know, people do forage the forest for coconuts, mangoes, papayas, guavas, bananas. You know, just be sure to check the law on that. So if you're one of those people who's actually looking to move here and you want some plants that are, you know, you don't want to have to grow them from seeds, become friends with people with big lots. Maybe offer to pay them if you can take some of their trees off their lot. For example, coconuts. There's many houses. I mean, the Big Island is where I really remember this being prominent. I was in Hawaiian Paradise Park, just in Puna. I remember I went on someone's property. They had palm trees galore all over the place. Just an Eden type place. I mean, palm trees, guava, mangoes, papaya, bananas, everything. It would rain like 3 or 4 times a day kind of place. Just a real true jungle. But on that property, they'd have, you know, giant coconut shells, coconuts, actually on the ground. And some of them, you know, you'd see they'd have the palm already coming out, and it hadn't taken root, because it usually grows out of that and then it starts to take root once it outgrows the shell. But you could take one of those from your friend's property if they allow you to, and you can put that on your property. And that's, you know, that'll save you 6 months on getting your mango going on. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else can you do to save money? Like I said, just go to the local farmers market, get to know the people there. You know, don't be just looking for handouts, but let them know, you know, you're looking to do business with them, and you'd like to get some of their fresh produce. If they don't mind giving you a combine, a discount, you know, instead of charging you $5 for a coconut, maybe charging you $1. They could do that. As far as recreation goes, you know, obviously going to get beer and stuff, you're going to be paying, you know, top dollar at the bars. Outdoor activities are the way to go with that, but you just don't want to drink and drive, so find a DD. But outdoor activities, you know, you can go to the beach, kick back a couple beers on the beach, you know, get the beers over at the you know, Island Mart or something like that. Yeah, like I said, you just don't want to be drinking and driving. Find mom and pops areas instead of tourist traps, because tourist traps, like for example, like Front Street, that's a tourist trap. Ali'i Drive, Kona, tourist trap. Captain Cook, Puna, Hawaii, Kauai, not so much. That's Big Island. Maui, you know, Paia is not so much a tourist trap, although more and more tourists are finding out about it. Wailuku is not too bad. Kihei is not too bad on tourist traps. Lahaina will just get you. I mean, once you go up into West Maui, I mean, goodbye. You're paying top dollar, Kaanapali, and even Wailea. Oahu, Waikiki's the tourist trap. Try and get to the North Shore. Haleiwa. Kailua, it's all right. And then Kauai, Honolulu is not quite a tourist trap, but they still get a lot of tourists in there, and you know, but it is what it is. Molokai, you can get some cheap accommodation on Molokai if you're really looking to relax. Molokai is going to be where you could go. Puna, like I said, on the Big Island, is affordable living. You know, this is getting away from the tourist traps. So I guess you could say check out Hilo, check out Hamakua, check out Puna, Hawaiian beaches, Hawaiian Paradise Park, Maui, check out Kula, Makawao, Wailuku, Kihei's, yeah. West Maui, you know, you're going to find a tough time. Check out North Shore, check out Kailua, I guess you could say. Check out the area down by Pearl Harbor. There's a couple different communities down there. Not quite Ko'olina, but you get the point. And then once you get around, once you get out of Lahui in Maui, I mean, or in Kauai, you know, you're looking at where all the $1 million lots are. You know, Kilauea, from Kilauea towards Honolulu is, you know, you're priced out of paradise over there. But, well, I guess you could find some Mohanas for a pretty good price. But, yeah, living off grid is a real great alternative for saving money if you don't mind living without modern amenities. But you'd want to go in there educated and ready to go with being prepared mentally for a long haul. So having internet and satellite is something you can have if you need to work from home, but living off grid with internet and satellite, I would say you're probably better off just having the full gauntlet. But if you need internet and satellite, you're not really living off grid, to be honest with you. So anyways, guys, hope this provides some additional information, and if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.